I got Brad Cohen, who's the lawyer for Kodak Black.
I am Kodak's lawyer. I've been his lawyer for about three and a half years.
Sure. Why is he in prison?
Okay, so on this particular case, he's in prison because there's a law in Florida in regards to owning a firearm if you're under 24, if you have a prior juvenile record. That's kind of the start of it, right? So he actually, and the government never disclosed this, it was something that we found out through...
We know how they are about that.
Yeah. So we found this out through investigators, but he was actually given advice by an ex-Miami-Dade police, I wouldn't say an officer, but it was a employee of the Miami-Dade Police Department, and was given the advice that he was okay to go in and purchase a firearm. Not just that he was okay to go in and purchase a firearm, but also that he could actually apply for his carry permit.
And that's federal, correct?
Correct. That's the federal part of it. So Kodak, having that information, went over to a gun store, filled out the application. One of the questions on the application is, are you under indictment, or do you have a pending charge that would affect interstate commerce? He checked off no, because most people don't even know
what interstate commerce is.
Right, sure. Or what charge would affect interstate commerce. So the definition of that question is kind of vague. He checked off no. He was sold firearms, and the allegations are that he possessed those firearms when he left the store. Normally, when you're charged with a white-collar crime, that this should be considered that, because it's a paperwork crime. It's not something of violence. You usually get a medium or a low, depending on your priors. Because Miami, and we'll get into this afterwards, but because Miami waited until he pled out his federal case to essentially charge him with the same kind of charge state case.
Usually they don't do that.
Usually they do not.
Obviously, that's a point of, do they really after this kid?
Correct. What you read about someone, what is on paper, and this goes for any defendant. The defendants are not what's on the paper. Like, everybody's a person, you know? And when you start talking to these people, when you start finding out what makes them tick, like, it's amazing. And he does things anonymously. Like, he's donated masks anonymously. He's done all these things anonymously that he doesn't even want me to say where, when, how. He pays for funerals. He pays for police officer funerals. He donates to fallen officer funds. All these things.
I'm so glad you got that out there.
And the thing is, and he doesn't ever want to take credit for that stuff. The only time it ever comes out in the press is either I force him to say, hey, listen, like, you got to at least tell people the good that you're doing, because they're only getting one side
Absolutely.
of who you are.